Aquaculture. Fish farming in Ghana has been growing over the last 15 to 20 years, providing fresh fish for millions, providing income and job for Ghanaians across the value chain, with Ghana being one of the top aquaculture producers on the continent. Majority of production comes from in-cage culture and ponds of varying scales in and around the Volta Lake and from outflowing rivers down to the coast. Whilst this has been a success story, increasing intensification of agriculture has, with any form of livestock production, brought major challenges, one of which is aquatic animal health and disease, which in recent years have had a huge commercial impact in Ghana. This video, filmed in November 2021, aims to highlight the past and current status of the fish health in Ghana, including voice opinions and recommendations for the future from all different stakeholder groups.
Hello, my name is Ivan Skojo-Danso, the founder of Floso Farms. We are one of the leading aquaculture businesses in the country at the moment. We run into all kind of issues. The leading one being the fish health issue. So we had to deal with battles involving streptococcus infections, break out massively on various parts of the lake and on the river. And then most recently, the ISKNV, which is still hanging around, not gone yet. In terms of revenue losses, we currently are producing a lot less than 100,000 metric tons as a country. You can imagine this compared to countries like China doing 12 million tons and Egypt doing a little bit of 1.3 million tons. So we grew in the opposite direction. So in terms of revenue, we lost just around $100 million.
The survival rate for these farmers is quite low. Until recently, farmers were witnessing as low as 20% survival rate, but the situation is improving gradually, largely because of interventions being rolled out by the private sector and the government sector as well. So gradually the situation is getting better. However, the disease situation is still endemic.
At our peak, we did 380 tons, and our worst year, we lost nearly 40 tons of fish, and that was in December 2018. We lost all that fish to ISKNV. We got hit on the December 7th, and then it lasted like till now.
Whilst the lack of biosecurity measures and environmental practices such as appropriate cage spacing was a contribution factor, at least part of the cause of the disease issues in Ghana is thought likely to have been as a result of fingerlings genetics imported from abroad. Importation of live fish can be an avenue to introduce foreign pathogens into a country, particularly if the right protocols are not followed.
The major trend is towards intensification and commercialization. And when you talk of intensity, then you're also talking of disease. A major problem we have is the fact that the system or the industry is not regulated, it's not under any regulation. Even though the regulations are there, we are unable to regulate the farmers because many of them, a high percentage of farmers do not have permits. I think about 90% plus do not have permits. And it becomes very difficult to regulate a system of that nature. Before you realize a farm has sprung somewhere, and because of inadequacy of staff of the Fisheries Commission, it is very difficult to regulate the system. And therefore, it is not time for Ghana to import a gift. Somehow, somebody managed to bring it into the system. So in 2018, we had serious disease incidents in the aquaculture industry, which resulted in the closure of some farms. And then government took certain measures like preventing the movement of fish from the lake region to the hinterland. And therefore, at the moment, you cannot just move fish from the lake area, which is the area which was actually, which is the disease-prone area, to the hinterland without supervision from the fish health unit.
In 2015, we cited our first case of streptococcus, which was a foreign introduction, 1B, which was a foreign introduction. Why was it a foreign introduction? Because the list we had of the diseases existing in Ghana, which are already endemic in our waters, they didn't have the 1B or the 1A. There was only one virus, African virus, that we noticed in wild fish. There was no virus. The problem about Ghana is that we don't have very good border control for the import of this thing. The streptococcus, we tried to bring in a vaccine to stop it. Why? Because it was devastating in the old age. A French company helped in producing it for the two. Then, not long after, we had the ISKNV.
If you are introducing any aquatic animal or any aquatic organism, you have to go through the protocols. There are checklists that you have to go. And even within the fisheries regulations, we have a session where when you are bringing in, you are importing or even exporting any live aquatic animal, we have to be in the know and then look through the documentations, see whether it is coming from a place that has, let's say, an OIE listed disease or any disease of economic importance. So we study all those things before we even approve for any aquatic animal product to be brought into the country.
Ghana, strictly on paper, it says that any foreign species or alien species import is not allowed. But when you look at the streptococcus and you look at the ISKNV, they came from outside. When somebody is having a strain which grows faster, better and disease resistant, and when you are not allowed to access that one, definitely people will find their own ways to access it. And when they are accessing it without government permission, this is the place where the biosecurity is compromised and the quarantine is compromised. And that was the way how the pathogens have entered into Ghana. So I would like to appeal to other African countries and leaders that please don't stop the growth of the industry by saying you want to secure the biodiversity of your species. Human beings are more important than fishes. So if you allow the import of the prominent strains to come into your country, it can enhance the production of the fish, it can enhance the food security of the people, and rather than you want to secure the biodiversity of your local strain of tilapia, finally it is niloticus. It doesn't make any pride for any country by securing it. And today if you see Ghana, if you go to the main lake of Volta also, you can see nearly 8 different varieties of tilapia, maybe whichever strains are there, whichever strain from which country we don't know. They came from every country, they landed over here, and that are all illegal. So please don't stop that. If you make the importation of advanced species legally through government, that will allow the quarantine to be in its place, and the pathogens will not be smuggled into the country illegally.
In response to the disease issues, the Ghanaian industry were able to roll out and implement successful cure strategies and interventions in order to manage the impacts. This ranges from farm-level treatment as well as wider government programs.
At the early stages of the incidence of the ISKNV, we instituted a ban on movement of fingerlings and even broodstock from the lake area, the epic area, to other parts of the country. And that was being signed. We did it. The Fish Health Unit wrote that movement, the ban on the movement of aquatic animals. And the executive director of the commission even appended his signature to that effect. So for a very long time, aquatic materials were not being moved from the lake area, especially the affected area, to other parts of the country. So we did that. It was instituted, and we have records to show. But currently, we don't really know what, I mean, maybe because we started the vaccination program and then things were getting better and stuff like that. So for now, I think the rules have been a bit relaxed and people can move.
I'm working for a French pharmaceutical company called Virbac here. We produce the Tilevac vaccine, and my primary role is to provide technical support to the farmers with the entire vaccination process so that they get the best value for money out of the vaccine and it has the best opportunity to work. Unfortunately for the ISKMV, we don't have a solution for the Streptococcus 1A and the 1B. We believe the way forward is vaccinations. The period where the disease is strongest is also the period of time where the sales are highest. Most fish get sold around Christmas and around Easter, and the Streptococcus is most aggressive when the warm weather comes at the end of November. So it's a constant juggle that they have to do with their stocking densities and trying to keep the fish stress-free throughout a very, very tough time of the year.
When we consider security, biosecurity, as my officers had said, I was recommended to look for a dip where people who visit the farm will have to dip themselves in wearing boots so they don't bring any disease into the farm. And then my visitors book to also check people who come in and out. And then the net, as I'm using to cover the ponds, you know, some birds also feed on our fishes. So at least that is also supposed to protect my fishes. And then my investments as a whole. And then when you consider, for instance, where the water leaves my pond, you can see I have another pond at the other outskirts over there where all the water moves in, settles before leaving into the environment, not to pollute people downstream. And then how do you treat that? We have charcoal, and then alum, and then aquatap that we occasionally drops into the pond before the water goes out.
We have over 71 members who are mainly representing the entire value chain. So we have farmers, feed producers, feed producers and distributors. We have input suppliers. We have members who are into fish processing as well. And we have researchers who are also part of the chamber.
The Ghanaian aquaculture industry is demonstrating a gradual recovery from the disease outbreak. Looking to the future of the industry, stakeholders are learning from these experiences to prevent such disease outbreak from happening again and working towards building a resilient industry.
If you would think of a solution in terms of investing in good quality fish health lab and facility, the investment that we require to turn these things around will be just close to a peanut compared to what we really lost.
The kills were on the lake. We realized there was a temperature change. We realized there was a ISKMV and fishes were dying. We sent samples out. The other thing too we need to do is to advise our border control agents, the customs, the immigration, and others, to insist on having veterinary permits on any important thing, any imported material, aquatic material.
I am of the opinion that much effort should be put into issues that pertains to aquatic animal health. We've seen a gist of it with the incidents of the ISKMV and the strep. We shouldn't wait for the worst to happen. So we should learn and then make sure that we have our systems and our structures in place.
So far, the industry future looks very promising if we are able to have absolute control over the disease situation. And once that is done, Ghana has one of the best ecosystems for aquaculture production. And we should be able to scale up aquaculture production drastically once we have absolute control over the disease situation in the aquaculture sector. And if you're able to do that, increased production will translate into even job creations. We're going to create a lot of jobs for young men and women who are currently seeking for jobs. We're going to contribute a lot to the GDP of the Ghanaian economy, because at the moment, Ghana is importing over 390,000 metric tons of fish per annum. The chamber has a fish health training sessions, which is usually organized via Zoom webinar because of the COVID situation.
This video is a first in giving voice to the range of stakeholders who work in Ghanaian aquaculture about the challenges of fish health and fish diseases. We hope it will better serve not just Ghanaians, but others working in increasingly commercialized aquaculture sectors across Africa. Many of these issues, recommendations, and positive actions are valuable lessons learned for us all.